parked, and so they're being parked out there now, and so then they'll wander in there, get a snack and some beverage, and get situated. We thought that gives some time for you to ask some questions of the governor if you wanted to, her to answer them if she wanted to, right? And then she'll be able to speak to the crowd and go back and do some things. But I thought the auction and the process in Deadwood was exceptional. Raised a lot of good money for a really good cause. And the ride down here was the beautiful South Dakota country, and it was a nice ride. With that, I'll just give the microphone back to the governor. If you have some questions, that's why we're here. Okay.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. We did have a great auction down at Deadwood, raised some money for Treasured Lives, which is a human trafficking survivors nonprofit that does a lot of good work in the state of South Dakota. And then also, I believe you were raising some money for Special Olympics as well. In the past, you have for the Motorcycle Museum. Was there another entity?
Actually, we had three charities that we benefited. The money from the Legends Ride actually was divided between the Sturgis Motorcyle Museum and Hall of Fame and the Special Olympics. And I just got so excited about the kids that I forgot to mention the museum when I was up there, right? So then earlier we had a lunch with some other celebrities. Well, you met the ones that were introduced at before the auction, and raised some money, and I don't know how much yet, for the Shriners Transportation Fund, which transports kids in life-threatening situations to get needed medical treatment. So those are the charities that we primarily work with. There are a number of others, but those are the ones that today are focused.
So this is my first time participating in a Sturgis Motorcyle Rally ride. So it was great to be invited by Rod to participate in the Legends Ride. Really did enjoy it. Perfect day in the Black Hills of South Dakota. It is a little dry in western South Dakota. Eastern South Dakota's gotten some recent moisture, but we're doing very well in our state. We have the fastest growing economy in the nation. Very low unemployment numbers. We're grateful that people come here and spend their vacations. We've got thousands of people moving to the state. And I think it's because they want to live somewhere where the government respects them. And so we are grateful for Rod and for the community of Sturgis's leadership. And tourism is our second largest industry. It is a huge part of our economy. And I think South Dakota does hospitality better than anywhere else in the world. So one of the things that I don't think Rod has mentioned, or maybe you don't even know, but for all of history, when people have done a search on the internet for where they want to spend their vacations, they've always looked for tropical destinations, beaches, places to go. And my tourism secretary was telling me just a couple of weeks ago that for the first time in history, the people of this country and of the world, when they go to search for where to spend a vacation, their search is rural America and small towns. And I think it's fantastic that South Dakota has exactly what people are looking for. They can come here, remember what America feels like, remember what it is to be free, and have their liberties respected, and we're just so grateful that people are here spending time with us. So with that, let's just take any questions that you might have.
How many people do you guys expect to be here this year?
We're not sure. Last year we had close to 500,000. We think we could have close to 1 million. Maybe Rod has a little bit more insight.
I think the official estimates are going to be very close to 1 million, and it looks like. And I can attest from the feedback that we get from the, tens of thousands of tourists that we have here at the chip, that the reason that so many people are searching for Midwest and really South Dakota is because this governor's position has been shown to everyone, and so South Dakota is getting recognition it has never gotten before, and it's a direct result of the respect this government has for the freedoms and the liberties of the citizens.
Yes? Well, it is actually a fundraiser for my Habitat program. So the bike that I rode today will be auctioned off this fall at the Governor's Hunt, and the money and the proceeds raised will go into a working lands program that provides habitat for our world-class hunting that we have. So we're excited about that. Hunting is a big part of our heritage and culture here here in South Dakota too. So getting diversity on the landscape, getting habitat out there for the wildlife is incredibly important. So it's wonderful that the company has partnered with some dealers and my board to give us an opportunity to auction off this Indian motorcycle and raise some money to do that.
Yes. If you could just move the mic a little closer. We're just speaking to it.
That one?
No,
The big one?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Perfect. So we received a copy of a draft that the working group in the social studies curriculum sent to the Department of Education. And there's some differences with that and what was sent to the media. The biggest one is just a lot less references for the Dakota tribes of South Dakota. Do you know who made those changes, how those changes were made?
I know that this is still a working draft, and so my administration's working with that group, and when it is finalized, then we'll get that out to you.
Okay, and would you want to see those references put back in? Because again, they were in the earlier draft,
I
and then
don't believe
out
they
of
were completely eliminated, though, were they? I haven't seen the actual draft, so I'll take a look at it. But
Okay.
yes,
It
it's
was-
an important part of our history that we're going to include. Yes.
And were you surprised to see Dr. Fauci on one of those recent political shows, so target Sturgis as an event, as a potential super spreader? A lot of the feedback and a lot of the pushback people had first comments were, well, there was Lollapalooza, there were these other events, there were the Milwaukee Bug celebration, why Sturgis? Were you surprised to hear those comments? And I know you and him have kept in contact during the pandemic and worked closely together.
Yeah, I think that I was not surprised to see Dr. Fauci pick on Sturgis. He picked on it last year, this rally as well. And, honestly, I wish he cared as much about the southern border and what we have going on there with the amount of COVID virus cases that are coming across that border that are not being isolated and taken care of. Yes, back there.
Are you concerned about the Delta variant, about what some people are saying is this being a super spreader event yet this year?
We are continuing to watch the virus just like we always have, making sure that we're focusing on hospital capacity should we need that. We have plenty of capacity today, and continuing to get information to people that they need to make the best decisions for their families.
How long have you been riding a motorcycle?
I go back here and then I'll go to you. Sorry.
So how do you balance, the health and safety of your citizens, but also the health of South Dakota's economy, having tourism, having this event?
Well, it really comes down to what my authority is. I don't believe that governors have the authority to tell people that they have to shut down their businesses, that they have to shelter in place, and then to pass mandates on that should be used for personal responsibility. And I've told the folks in South Dakota all the time that I would give them all the information that I have to protect their health, give them the science and the facts and the data, and then let them have flexibility as well to make the best decisions for them, their families, and their businesses. How long have I been riding motorcycle? I used to ride motorcycle a lot about 20 years ago. And then my husband Brian said he wanted me to wait until the kids were old enough to raise themselves. So I rode on a ride a few years ago. Haven't ridden for 2 or 3 years until a few days ago. So a couple days ago I got warmed up again. Yep. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Mark.
Do you feel like your approach has been successful? You've been criticized for your approach in the pandemic, and I know something you pointed to were other states who put in different mandates or different, whether it's masks or closing down businesses, you point to you've done none of that, and yet South Dakota's numbers are lower than your states. Do you consider your approach to be a success?
I consider my approach to be the right approach. I think every governor should have used the same approach that I used because it was truly one of not overstepping my authority. When leaders overstep their authority, especially in a time of crisis, that's really when we break this country. So I wish every governor in this country would have followed my approach. I trusted my people, gave them all the information that I had, studied the science of the virus, and still today are as it changes. And then we're looking at the economy, but we're looking at people's health too. And one of the statistics that would be great if you guys would cover is the fact that there's only 2 states in the entire country whose drug overdoses decreased in the last year. New Hampshire, I think, decreased by about 0.5%. South Dakota's drug overdoses decreased by, I think, 16%. Our mental health issues have gone down. Suicides in comparison to other states have gone down. So overall, I think our people have dealt with this pandemic in different ways. Our kids have been in the classroom learning, and our businesses have stayed open, and we've got historic revenue coming into the state because people are out there
document that they view as apolitical, and they're afraid the Department of Education is going to politicize it. And this is again a social studies standard.
So that's all speculation, and it's all a little ridiculous, honestly. So what you can judge us on is the final product. The reason things are drafts is because it's a working draft, and we're bringing everybody to the table, taking input. We're going to make sure we have the best product that teaches history, civics, curriculum, and to our students in the K-12 system. And that's why it's still a draft. Yes.
Yes, the ethanol industry, with the Renewable Fuels Association, has been a sponsor here for the rally, the chip, the legend ride, to educate motorcyclists about ethanol. What do you think about that promotion? Talk a little bit about how important ethanol is to the state of South Dakota.
Oh, I mean, ethanol is critical to our economy. It's a big part of our state. I've worked on legislation to promote renewable fuels for many years in the state legislature, in Congress, and now as governor. It's a priority of my administration and is a part of the platform that I talked about implementing. So that promotion is fantastic to have here at the rally. What I would like to see is more of a focus on American energy, diversified American energy, and ethanol is a big part of that. Yes.
Speak on what all the sort of local government officials, last year when the rally happened, and they took a lot of flack. They got death threats and built the brunt from getting calls in the middle of the night, having people threaten their families. And Sturgis local officials ended up taking their cell phones and personal emails off of the website because they would just kind of overrun with these threats. Did you guys speak to them at all when going forward?
We're always in constant communication with local officials, and that is one of the things that has been hard the last couple of years, is to see the constant divisiveness and people going after each other. In virtually every speech I give, I talk about us having conversations again and talking to each other, taking the anger and the emotion out of those discussions. And I'm hopeful that here in South Dakota, people will recognize that we have wonderful people who welcome them to their state, and that our local officials are the closest to our people, and they're the ones who are leading locally, and we appreciate all that they do.
All right, folks, last question.
Sure.
South Dakota is a big cattle state,
It is.
and that just happens to be, you are a rancher. What concerns do you have about the beef supply chain, and how would you like to see that addressed?
Well, we've been fighting the packers for 25, 30 years, and we've got 4 big packers that are controlling the market and putting a lot of profit into their pockets, and it's bankrupting our ranchers. So, we have been working to get the Department of Justice to continue the investigation that started under President Trump. We're hopeful they'll continue to do that. Beyond that, what we've done here in South Dakota is add local processing grants out to individuals in the state so that we can process more of our beef here, and then we participate in a CIS program which allows us to process and sell anywhere in the country now through our state inspected plants. So it's been a big issue that my Lieutenant Governor, Larry Roden, has championed and worked on, is making sure that we're processing our beef here in South Dakota and have the ability to market and go around those packers that are cheating our ranchers.
You speak just a little about Treasured Lives.
Well, Treasured Lives is a remarkable entity. It was started by a woman who was trafficked, who's written a book about her story and about the fact that these folks that are trafficked need to heal in a very different way than anybody who goes through domestic abuse. As someone who's been trafficked, is forced to have sex, is raped 50 times a day, over and over and over again, and that damages people in a very different way than anything else. So they need a special kind of healing, special people to come alongside them and help them get their life back on track. And Kelly's one of the most remarkable people that I know. So they're out here providing those resources to not victims now, but survivors, people that come through that and go forward and champion that healing and make sure they continue to reach out to others. It's remarkable. It's here in Rapid City, and I would encourage everybody to support it.
All right, thank you, folks.